Alright guys, it's time for another Butt Kickin' 556 video. And today's bullet is going to be the 55 grain Sierra BlitzKing. So our last video, we broke in and tested my new White Oak Armament 18-inch barrel. It shot really well. But most of the lighter bullets I tested in it were pretty crappy. So I didn't really give the barrel the opportunity to shine on the lower weight end of things, and that's what I'm hoping for today. I'm expecting this 55 grain Sierra BlitzKing to shoot lights out. If it doesn't shoot really well, I'm going to be upset. This guy, we're definitely going to categorize it as a butt kicker. It is a varmint bullet. Let me read you what Sierra has to say. Yeah, this bullet is designed for explosive expansion in varmints and small game, and with accuracy characteristics of the Match King bullets. The nose tips of the bullets are made of proprietary acetyl whatever the crap. Okay, so we should expect Match King accuracy. That's what I'm expecting. So I'm really looking forward to trying these guys out. For load data on these guys, we are going to go straight off of Sierra's load data. And the powders I picked out for these guys, Winchester 748 is the first one. They show a max charge of 26.5. So we're going to shoot up to 26.5. We're going to do 0.3 of a grain increments. So start at 25.3 up to 26.5. Those are going to be our 5 charge weights for Winchester 748. The other powder I picked out is Vihtavuori N133. They show a max charge of 24.1 grains. So just like the 748, we're going to shoot up to 24.1, and we're going to do 0.3 of a grain increments, which gets us down to 22.9. So I think these are going to be some good powders. Maybe squeeze some accuracy out of these bullets. We're going to stick with their recommended overall length, 2.250 inches. And for brass, we are using the same stockpile of Federal 223 brass that I've been shooting recently on the channel. This stuff is fully prepped and ready to rock, and it has been primed with CCI number 41 primers. So all we really need to do is measure out some powder and seat some bullets, and then we will be on the range. I finally picked up a Forster Ultra Micrometer seating die for 223. I love these Forster dies. This is my, how many do I have? This is my 4th one. So I'm slowly collecting these guys in all of my favorite chamberings, and 223 was definitely the next one on my list to get. I've decided to add an additional test to this video. Our first load, which is 25.3 grains of Winchester 748, I'm actually going to load 20 of these guys. And what I want to do with these rounds is test out the effect that my magneto speed chronograph has on this gun. So, you know, the magneto speed chronograph does hang off the barrel, or in this case, it's going to be hanging off the suppressor. And it certainly can affect how a gun shoots, both in group size and point of impact. But I found that most of my guns don't care at all. I don't see much point of impact shift, and I don't see much effect on groups. But since I haven't tested it with this barrel yet, that's what I want to do here with these first 20 shots. Is we'll shoot a 10-shot group without the chronograph, and then we'll shoot a 10-shot group with the chronograph and just see what we get. All right, so these first 20 are going okay here. Seating just fine with the new bullet seating die. I am getting an occasional couple thousandths of variation in overall length, but it's only a couple of them. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing I'm noticing is that the seating stem in my die is leaving some marks on the bullet. Just a touch. So I don't know if maybe I need to polish up my seating stem a little bit, or these are just exceptionally thin jackets. You know, Varmint bullets have thin jackets. Let's see if I can get you to look at some of this. Just a little bit of a spot or two there where the seating stem touches the bullet. Nothing to freak out about. So I don't know. We'll see. Bullets are seating nice. New seating die seems to be working just fine, so it's all good, brother. I was trying to decide whether to pull out the Leaf Factory crimp die and give these guys a little bit of a crimp. And I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to shoot them without a crimp. We'll see how that works out. So there's not going to be a whole lot more to see here. All I need to do is weigh out some more charges and seat a few more bullets. So if something interesting comes up, I'll flip the camera back on, but if not, I might just see you guys out on the range. All right, I want to start things out by testing our MagnetoSpeed chronograph, and I want to take it one step further than I mentioned earlier. So I've got 20 rounds loaded up with 25.3 grains of Winchester 748 for this test, but I've also got some other sighters that I had loaded up previously with 69 grain Match Kings and 25 grains of CFE 223. So I want to shoot both the 69 grain Match King and the 55 grain BlitzKing here in this MagnetoSpeed test. So we are at 100 yards. I'm shooting off my GG&G bipod and a rear bag. This is a Palmetto State Armory upper that has an 18-inch White Oak Armament SPR barrel in it. I've got my Silencer Co. Omega suppressor on there and our Vortex Viper HST scope 4-16. So first group is the top left dot. It's the 69 grain Match King without the chronograph. All right, that's a pretty good start. Next up, I've got 10 rounds of our BlitzKings with 25.3 grains of Winchester 748. This group, no chronograph. It's going to be directly below the other group we just shot. All right, I like the looks of that first group there with the BlitzKing. This might be a pretty good day. All right, now I need to actually let the suppressor cool off for just a minute or two and get this stupid chronograph installed. See what happens. Okay, so we've got our chronograph hanging off the barrel now. Let's go back to our 69 grain Match Kings. 10 rounds. See if there's any effect. All right, looks like a little shift downward. Still a pretty darn good looking group. Okay, back to the BlitzKing. All right, so our target didn't look too bad. You're not going to be able to see anything anyway. You know what you saw. So it looks like we had about a 1 minute shift downward on both, with both bullets. And it does look like our groups opened up ever so slightly. Maybe. I really need to get in and get some calipers on it to see for sure, but still looks pretty darn good. So it still looks pretty good. Like, yeah, the groups were still fine. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to use the magnetospeed chronograph for these other shots. And it's time to move on to the next one. Got our new fresh target up there. We're still at 100 yards. And next up is going to be 25.6 grains of Winchester 748. $25.9. Okay, brass still looks good, so 26.2. Okay, our last charge of Winchester 748 is 26.5 grains. So far these groups have been a little bit disappointing. Velocity's pretty darn good, but the standard deviation numbers are looking a little crappy. All right, 26.5. All right, so I took a little break, got cooled off, let the gun cool off. Pretty disappointed in those Winchester 748 groups. And I'm hoping it wasn't me in this heat. So nice and cooled off, all rested. Moving on to N133. First charge is 22.9 grains. That's a little bit better group. Okay, 23.2. Okay, 23.5. All right, our brass looks great, the groups look great. Moving on to 23.8 grains. All right, brass still looks good. So we are moving on. Last up, 24.1 grains of N133. All right, pretty good looking groups. All right, let's get the heck inside where it's cool. I'm about to die. All right, so N133 really saved our butt today. Don't you think? Tell you what, let's look at the chronograph test really quick here. Now that I look, the groups with the chronograph aren't quite as bad as I thought. So with the 69 grade match king, we went from a 0.74 up to a 1-inch group. So a little bit, but we kind of lost a couple shots there. I certainly can't say that that's not my fault. Down here with the BlitzKing, we went from a 1.3 inch to a 1.08 inch, but that's not really being fair, right? Over here, we kind of had this one dude that screwed up the number. But just kind of the eyeball test, the groups looked a little tighter there without the chronograph. And I think this is the most shift I've seen at 100 yards. Most of my other guns, I don't really see any point of impact shift. So I would say that this barrel, this gun might be maybe a little bit more susceptible to the influences of the chronograph. I don't know. This is a good starting point. The gun clearly shoots okay with it on there, but I'm going to need to do a little bit more testing here to figure out exactly what the effects are. All right, over to the groups themselves. This was a pretty drastic difference between our two powders, right? Winchester 748, there wasn't really much of anything to talk good about. It just really seemed to get worse as we increase that charge weight, right? I mean, our best group was clearly back here. This was the 25.3 grains. These 20 shots were really pretty darn impressive. And I thought we were, going to be looking at some really good shooting loads, but it just seemed to get progressively worse here as we went up. So they can't all be winners. So Winchester 748 just wasn't the right match for my barrel with this bullet. But N133 sure was, by God. That first group was a 462. I have to pull out the targets from the last video. If that's not the best group we've ever shot with this barrel so far, it's really close. Yeah, this guy with the kind of lost one a little bit high was a 0.82, but all the others were right in that 0.6 to 0.7 range. Really, really, really outstanding shooting. I like it. So the brass was fine all the way across. No issues to speak of whatsoever. It all looked good. I love Sierra bullets. I'm never disappointed, man. Every time I crack open a box of Sierra bullets, I end up shooting some good groups, and today was no exception. Happy to see this little BlitzKing shoot so well. Because in the 55 grain bullet range, I've mainly shot crap bullets, and they've performed like crap. So it was nice to try some nicer bullets and shoot some better groups. All right, I think that's about it. Did I cover everything? I think I covered everything. Yep. All right. I'll see you guys next time.